Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Steve Harris, and I am here with my darling wife, Ria.
Hey, guys.
And we are here. We've been absent for a little bit, but we are here for another edition of Your Turn, another podcast. And we just want to thank you so much for joining us. And I'm hoping and praying that... that this whole thing with Corona is finally starting to let up. But the thing is, it's not. We're not out of the woods yet because there's still, especially in New Jersey, tight restrictions, and they're being released. And there's a whole bunch of, in my opinion, nonsense about the rules. It doesn't even add up now. It's like, do this, don't do that, and just, I don't know. But I will say this. Honey, I know you and I have talked about this previously, and you were like, honey, what do you want to say on the podcast today? And something came to my mind while we were driving home.
Yeah.
And, I think of the theme of traveling light. I remember when I would be in the business world, when I was in different jobs, I got to a point where I didn't have much on my desk and didn't bring much personal stuff with me because 1 minute you're there, next minute you're not. Whether you quit or whether you're let go or whatever, and the work situation, the work environment is so volatile. And I've been just witnessing something here recently, just with people, now that we're around people again.
Yeah.
You and I definitely have had an 800-pound gorilla Samsonite suitcase, which is getting lighter, thank God. A lot lighter. But a lot of people carry around baggage.
Right.
And I mean, they carry around baggage. They carry around mind baggage. Body baggage, which means fat and unhealthiness, which we're dealing with right now, my wife and I. Trying to get light. Spiritual baggage. If you don't know Jesus, there's the first problem. Second problem is, you know Jesus, like we did and do, but you're still carrying it.
Yeah.
And it's a process, and sometimes you need this thing called deliverance, where God immediately just works a thing, and there's other times where it's just a process where He's working you through it, through the Word and so forth. But to talk to my non-believer friends and believer friends equally here, no matter what you do in life, whatever you do, whatever you've experienced, whatever your worldview is because of those experiences, you are bringing to every relationship you're involved in. Whether it's a marriage, a friendship, a coworker, whatever it may be. And honey, I don't know about you, but I'm just so glad that for us, we're traveling lighter these days.
Yes. Yeah, and when you talked about the 900-pound gorilla thing, that we were carrying,
800.
You weren't talking about you weren't talking about our actual physical weight, bodily. You were talking about like mind, anger, okay, things in our minds like anger and unforgiveness.
Yep.
And depression and anxiety and panic and fear and all these things that we carried for so long, and we didn't know how to get rid of them. We didn't know how to put it down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't want it to be about us here. But recently, my health has not been good, and I basically have been killing myself. And God
silently too.
Supernaturally gave me some information back in January when we were really sick in January.
Yeah, it was almost like we might have had COVID and didn't know it.
Yeah, I mean, really bad.
High fever.
We were done for like a week.
We were out.
And it could have been. But bottom line is, I found this Dr. Berg guy and just started looking at fasting and all that, and and keto and this stuff, and now we're finally, we've been doing the fasting thing for a little while, but now we're...
Intermittent fasting.
But now we're doing the keto on top of it, and it's just been phenomenal. And it's just a new lifestyle now.
2.5 weeks, right?
Yeah. But let's turn the page here.
Yeah.
When it comes to living your life, the question remains: do you want to live with baggage that you're never going to get rid of, and you just want to keep it? And I know you've seen it as well, honey, and people even well into their older years. Mm-hmm. I've seen it where people they have a thing happen to them, and there ain't no way they're getting rid of it. They don't want to get rid of it.
Right.
They're going to keep it. They may say they want to get
Right.
rid of it, but they really don't, and they keep it.
Yeah, honey. And then look at sadly and heart-wrenchingly is the the statistics of the suicides,
Mm-hmm.
that have elevated since all this, and it's because of
Mm-hmm.
not letting that go.
Right.
You have to have an outlet and let those things go. It's crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial. We can't keep it inside. And so I keep saying that thank God that he prepared and equipped us for such a time as this that we went through with COVID and being quarantined together and just all the ins and outs about it, know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it just, I mean, and I've seen it even recently, just talking to some younger folk too, and watching how they've been through things, and just now they're at like a young adult age, and now they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bring our family into it, but there's different families as well as ours, and just in these levels, and all these things that have happened to them. If they don't deal with it, if they don't allow God to heal them,
Yes.
they're never going to move past it. So they're going to just take it with them, and then every time something happens, it's going to trigger them. And I mean, how many times do we see that people just turn to alcohol, drugs? Well, really, alcohol is a drug.
Yeah, they do.
And they turn to things like
escape.
And they turn to escape, and they just. And not to sound holier than thou, because years ago, when the Great Recession was going on, I was in a deep depression. I had serious anxiety. I had panic attacks at any given moment. It was just like it was just like crippling, to the point where I couldn't even get behind a wheel and drive at all.
Right.
I mean, to this day, I'm not crazy about driving long distances and stuff like that. It really had an effect on me. But I also realized that there were some modifications I needed to make in my life, and we needed to work on some things. We needed to work on our mind and renewing it with the Word, and we needed some healing, divine healing, and then physically our bodies weren't well, so you don't feel well. You're in a brain fog. Your health deteriorates, and so you're trying to focus on God and doing the things, but you're a mess because you want to go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night and like sleep like 12 hours.
Right.
Not you personally, but
just
in general. And so, I just look at that, honey. I mean, I don't know what your view is, but it really troubles me a lot, especially in church world, because we got the book.
Yes. And honey, I was thinking about how we, as you were talking, we couldn't even sit together like this at one time.
Oh, no.
No. We couldn't kind of wait to get away from each other. Anybody out there feel that way in your marriage? Come on now.
Put a comment.
Yeah, definitely. Because, we say we'd be 0 for 2, 4 divorces. If it wasn't for the Lord coming in and doing a work in us. And it was hard. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, we no sooner went so many years, 30 plus and 40 for me, without the Lord. But then when he did come in, that was a walk to get adjusted to. And that was so much pain and anguish and just, learning that I can't change you, and you learn that you can't change me, and we had to get in our own secret place, if you would.
Yep. Yep.
And let go of that baggage.
Yes. So, kind of the conclusion, this is the encouragement that we want to give today. You may be going through a lot of tough times right now, and you may think to yourself, like, it's God's fault, or maybe you don't believe in God, and maybe you're just saying, I don't know, it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
The very courageous thing that I had to do, and you can do as well, is this. You have to face yourself. And you have to take a real hard look at yourself to say, is this what I want? Is this the direction that I want for my life? And when you make a decision for Christ, what happens is spiritually, you start to be on the mend. But it's a process, and there were so many things years ago that we needed help with and healing, and we just never even knew it.
And we hide things from one another. It's just kind of a human nature thing, maybe what it is. It's just something inside of us that thinks, if I don't hide this that I'm doing, I'm going to hear about it or whatever. And I'm sure that's common
for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like grown up stuffy shirt.
No.
But for me, I played behind being a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really grew up.
And a kind of an only child, really, with two stepbrothers, so you were very selfish.
But what I'm saying is, baby, during these turbulent times, I tried to hide under cartoons and different things where I was just trying to hide and make jokes about stuff when in essence there was some deep sadness there.
Oh, yeah.
And now I feel like, this part of my life, I feel like I finally have grown up to be a man. And it took me almost to the age of 50.
Yeah.
Some people, it takes them well into their elder years, and they may never.
Yeah.
And so here's the encouragement.
And we don't know when our last day will be,
The encouragement is, the big question is, how bad do you want it?
Yeah,
and the second big question is, if today was your last day on earth, how would you live it? And they're the biggest questions. And there's some people that I've talked to about God, and they want no part of it, or they want no part of Jesus, but they just believe in some sort of God, and they make up their theology or whatever. Hey, I can't force people to believe in the Jesus that changed us.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that in this world and what we're going through right now and all the racial divides and everything else, if people turn to Jesus, it can get better. I believe he's the answer.
Oh, he is.
But we want to acknowledge everything but that.
And without him, we have no clue how to love fiercely through all the fierceness, you know. Without him, we just don't.
Yep.
We just don't. We might think we do. We might be wearing that mask, and I don't mean these physical masks that we're stuck with right now. Yep. I mean, are we wearing masks? Are we pretending? Are we faking this?
Yep.
And at one time we were.
So bottom line is, do you want to travel light? Do you want to travel light where you feel light as a feather, even in the problems and the throes of life? Or do you want to continue to carry that luggage around with you to every relationship you're in, to every situation you're in, even into your own self? You can't escape it. And so, on that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us today on this podcast. And honey, as always, I just want to thank you for joining me and being my right-hand lady.
Absolutely, and I pray that it was healing,
Yeah.
It revealed some things to some people.
And, put your comments down below and let us know. What is it that you need us to pray for that you need healing of?
Yep.
Okay? So don't forget, share this podcast. Let's get the word out. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Signing out.